Hi everyone, welcome to lesson 13.6 in your math book. Today we're going to be learning something very different. We're going to be talking about reasoning. Now reasoning is when you have to think out a solution. You have to reason it. You have to think about it. Okay? It's not just going to be about telling time today, but we're going to put some thinking behind our clocks. Now, I'm not going to read it like it is because when I first saw the dialogue box, of course, I want to say Noel. So I'm going to change this and let it be about Noel. Noel has a music lesson at 3:30. At 4:30, she goes to the library. She gets ready at 5 o'clock so that she can have dinner at 5:30. After dinner ends at 6 o'clock, she plays a game. Organize Noel's schedule in a way that makes sense to you. All right, if we were going to write this down like a to-do list, how would we go about that? All right, well, of course, I'm going to have to choose Noel. What do you think we should do? All right, you think we should write the time and then put the activity? Okay. How many of you do that at your own houses? How many of you have like a to-do list or a chart? Remember how I always had a to-do list on my desk every single day? It's kind of what I do as a teacher. All right, we're going to make a list for Noel. So I'm going to write Noel. And this is her schedule. Her music lesson is at 3:30. So let's write 3:30. And then we're going to write music. And just for fun, I'm going to write some musical notes up there, okay? All right, now do you see that you have lots of room on your paper? I would like you to write exactly what I'm writing, okay? But you can change the name to you, okay? We'll pretend it's your schedule just like it is Noel's. All right. Noel has a music lesson at 3:30. Okay, got it. At 4:30, she goes to the library. All right, so let's write 4:30. And then we're going to write the word library. There we go, library. Now remember, should you write any of those words incorrectly? No, because they are right there on your paper and all you have to do is look up and copy them. Okay, she gets ready at 5 o'clock so she can have dinner at 5:30. So do we need to write a 5 o'clock? Where should she be at 5 o'clock? Right, she needs to make sure she goes back home because she's going to get ready for dinner, okay? So let's put 5 o'clock, she goes back home. She doesn't want to spend too much time at the library. How much time does that give her? From 4:30 to 5 o'clock. Good job. Allie, thank you. And Eleanor, I heard you repeat that. You have a half of an hour or 30 minutes. All right. And what time is dinner? Wes? Okay, 5:30, and you're going to write dinner. Okay. All right, how am I going to do this? Okay, I'm going to have to tilt my board just a little bit. And after dinner ends at 6 o'clock, she gets to play a game. All right, what would you do? Maddox, what would you put on our list next? Okay, we want dinner to be over because her next activity or your next activity would be 6 o'clock and you get to play a game. Okay, now what did we just create? We just created a schedule. We had to reason everything we were going to do, and we had to think about where we had to go and what times we were doing them. Good job, everyone. All right, let's go to the next sheet. Okay, let's look up at the top in the green area. Mr. Diaz starts to read a story halfway between 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock. Ooh, do you remember that? Halfway around is 30 minutes. What time does Mr. Diaz start the story? Show the hands on the clock. Okay, now you have a small clock in your worksheet, and we're going to try that. Now, don't mind the noise. It's kind of got gears. Okay, there's 8 o'clock. Now, he's going to read a story halfway between 8 and 9. Okay, Liza, what is halfway between 8 and 9? Correct, 8:30. Let's try that song using the 8 o'clock and the 8:30. Are you with me? Okay, here we go. When the big hand's at the top, then you know it's 8 o'clock. But when the hand goes around and it's pointing down, it's half past 8 o'clock. I think it's 8:30. Good job. 8:30 is when Mr. Diaz is going to read the story to his class. Okay? So the hour hand is going to be between 8 and 9. Remember, halfway. And the big hand is going to point down. Now, how can I make sense of the question? What does halfway mean? Halfway means instead of the whole way around, you're only going half. Remember, we talked about that yesterday in our math lesson. What is my thinking? All right. The time between 8 and 9 is 1 hour. To get from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock is 1 hour. It's also 60 minutes. What is half of an hour? Anyone? Bueller? Anyone? Anyone? Lukey? Correct, 30 minutes. 8:30 is halfway between 8 and 9. And that's why we say it's half past 8 o'clock. It must be 8:30. Okay. All right, now I want you to go to the convince me. What happens 1 hour after art begins? All right, we're going to look up at the chart. It's kind of like a graph, isn't it? I love this. All right, can everybody find the word art? All right, what time is art? Maddox? 10:30 is correct. Now my question is, what happens 1 hour after art? Okay, everybody listen. Maddox said that art is at 10:30. What happens when I add 1 hour to 10:30? Jersey, what time would that be? Right, we're going to add 1 hour to 10:30. Now it's 11:30. Okay. Kaysen, do you see 11:30 on our schedule? Yeah, I see 11:30. And what word is there? Lunch. Oh, and that's what time we would eat in room 205 too. We would be eating at 11:30. It makes me miss 205. Oh, all right. Let's get to the meat of our program here. All right. Using Mr. Diaz's class schedule right there, we are going to answer the next questions. Now you see the time. Big hand is way up at the top, so we know it's o'clock. What is the boss pointing to? What is the hour hand? 8 o'clock. Do we have recess, art, or reading? Okay, we're going to go look at the time. 8 o'clock. And Wes, what do you see? You see the word reading. So that's why we're going to circle the word reading. Okay? All right, now we're going to go over to 10:30. Okay? And I think I'm going to bother Caden. 10:30. Do you see anything on the schedule for 10:30? Sure. I can go right up to my schedule, 10:30. I'm going to slide my finger across, and what word is there? Art. Good job. And we're just going to circle that word. Okay. Now, we're going to go to a different schedule. Do you see the nature trip schedule? We're going to use these times and these activities to answer the questions. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. Which activity do children do just before the bird watch? All right, the first thing you're going to have to do is find the bird watch. But is that the answer? No. I'm still looking for what comes just before the bird watch. Okay? All right, Faith, did you find bird watch? Right there. And what time, everyone? Good job, 11 o'clock. All right, what activity are we going to do right before the bird watch? Travis? Walk. Good job. And what time is the walk? 10 o'clock. Okay, if we walk at 10 and the bird watch is at 11, how long is our walk? And that is a very tricky one, and I think I'm going to call on Daphne. Daphne, how long is our walk? 1 hour. Good girl, from 10 to 11. And at 11, we're going to do something different. Okay. Which activity do the children do after lunch? Okay. First thing you need to do is find lunch. All right, Izzy, I'm going to pick you next, so you better be ready. Okay, did you find lunch? Okay, what time is lunch? 12 o'clock. What is the next activity that we are going to do? Oh, there's a compound word there. I see it. Make a birdhouse. Good girl, Iz. And what time is the birdhouse making? 12:30. JJ, this next one is for you. 12 o'clock is lunch. 12:30, we are going to make a birdhouse. How long did we get to eat lunch? Oh, JJ, thank you. We are only in lunch for a half hour. Do you see that? 12 to 12:30 means 30 minutes. And we know that 30 minutes is half of an hour. Good job, boys and girls. Okay, number 5. What activity starts at this time? All right, do you see that clock? Wow, this one's a little bit tricky, isn't it? Isaiah, I'm going to call on you. What time does that clock say? Great. The hour hand is between the 12 and 1, so it's not on 1 yet, so we're going to say 12, and it's 12:30. It must be, everybody grab your beers, 12:30. Good job. Now we need to go over and check it with the schedule. 12:30, what are we going to do? Make a birdhouse. Good job. Now, the last one. Circle the time that shows 3 o'clock. When the big hand's at the top, it must be 3 o'clock. But when the hand goes around and it's pointing down, it's 3 o'clock. It must be 3. Oh, good job, everyone. Please circle that answer. I heard it. Okay, now I'd like you to finish the back, and this should not take you hardly any time at all. There's the schedule, and you're going to answer the questions according to the family schedule, okay? If you need help with some of these words, I'm going to read them right now so you don't have to bother Mom. Okay, this is the time side, and this is the activity. Museum, aquarium, city tour, sea building, dinner. Okay, those are all the activities that family is going to do on their schedule, okay? All right, try to answer those questions. And I'm going to show you what's in store for tomorrow. We are going to play a game tomorrow. This is